stood before her, tall and broad, stone-faced angels from the gates below. Name wrestled out her sword, lantern thrown to the side and shattered among the canyon walls. Her short chestnut brown hair whipping around her face as she mentally counted out the odds of surviving this fight. 3 demons, all over 6 feet tall and as broad in the shoulders as she was tall. The one on the left is a purplish color in the moonlight. His forearms, if you can call them that, painted with scars of deep blue and pale purple pinks. 2 horns atop his head, black as the night sky, stretched into high, fine daggers that twisted and shimmered in the light. The middle one, a deep crimson red. His arms looked smaller and less battle-worn, but his hands seemed to be covered in a odd diamond-like yellow stones. No horns on his head, but a long, thick beard twisted like bramble from his chin. His eyes glowed with the same yellow as the stones in his fist. He looked less intimidating, but on closer inspection, he seemed to be the most dangerous. The third looked out of place. He seemed more timid and passive than the others. No giant warring physique, no bulk to his form. Had he been human, she would have thought him a prisoner of the other 2, but the green skin gave away that he was never human. A trickster, she thought, looking closely at him, taking in the unassuming form to identify where his power laid. Looking deeper into his face, she saw something quirk in the corner of his lips before it disappeared. Did he just smirk at her? Names, all of you, she demanded, brandishing her sword at them. They looked to each other. Some silent conversation she couldn't read. Big Red turned back to her and shook his head back and forth. They would not speak to her. She was human, nothing to them but a toy to play with until they were bored. I am Princess Name. I command you to identify yourself. She tried again, putting more force in her voice. It echoed down the canyon, making the loose rocks along the ridge vibrate and fall with the small clicking sounds in the distance. Green Machine stepped forward and gave a flourished bow with one arm across his waist, the other outstretched behind him. As he rose back up, his eyes locked to hers, and she could feel what his power was then. He was a trickster for sure, trying to cloud her mind into seeing him as a friend, her best friend. Wait, when did Xanda get here? The princess reached out her hand for her Xanda, beckoning her away from the demons and behind for safety. Xanda's long blonde hair fell just at her waist in the loose braids, her wide, innocent blue eyes looking nervously to the left as she yelped in surprise at the purple and red demons like she had not noticed them before. In a couple of quick steps, Xanda was behind Name, a hand placed on the small of her back to move together. Princess shook her head. Wait, I came out here alone. Where did Xanda come from? The princess rounded on her friend behind her, only to see the last bit of magic fall away, revealing Green Machine again. He laughed so hard, his head tipped back, and a hand held his stomach. Purple and Red joined in on the laughter, but the princess slowly realized she was now surrounded. Metal down, my lady, Green Machine said, placing a thick fingertip on the edge of her sword. We would never dream of hurting a member of your status. She glared at him a moment, then put away her sword. Some old merchant told her once, demons don't lie. They deceive with the truth. It makes the prey that much easier to play with and torment. She looked back to Purple and Red, who were now moving closer to join Green Machine. How dare you try and fool me? Don't you know the penalty for tricking a royal? Red nudged an elbow into Purple's side. Lilac does. Tell her about that pretty little royal 2 villages back. Lilac ducked his head slightly, his cheeks turning a darker hue. I didn't know demons could blush, the princess thought. Oh, we can blush, said Green Machine. And we're really good at reading body language. He smiled. He said with a smile that showed a hint of yellowed fang between his lips. She ignored him and turned to Red. And you are? A demon, Red teased, sending Green Machine and Lilac into another round of laughter. Princess was not amused. She grew bored with the demon games. With a sigh that expressed in a breath the full extent she did not find any of them funny, she continued, What am I to call you, then? Red thought for a moment, his blocky face scrunching up tight as though the effort were foreign and hard to do before again he looked at her and smiled. Red. You can call me Red. She rolled her eyes. Fine, whatever. And I am Peter, said Green Machine. She looked at each in turn. Lilac, Red, Peter. I have your names now. Oh, do you? Said Red, a hint of challenge in his voice. Princess nodded and pointed to Lilac. You are Hyrule, of the Northern Keltron clan. She then pointed to Red. You are Zhu, of the Northern Hecatec clan. Then she turned to Peter. You are of the Southern Wilson clan, but I cannot say your name in this region, so I will call you Peter. The demons looked puzzled to each other. Then Peter laughed again. Seems you are more than you appear as well, Princess. She nodded. Well then, my friends, it's time we move along. This princess is dull, and I would like some fun before the night is done. The three began to walk on, away from the princess. She raised an eyebrow at their backs. You forget yourself, she called. You must escort me to my home in the west. But, Princess, we're headed south. I'm sorry, but you must journey alone. Fair weather, Red called back without turning. A crack of lightning struck the ground in front of them, as an angry roll of thunder growled over their heads. You know, boyos, Lilac said, a small bit of tension in his voice. I hear West has some great adventures for 3 industrious fellows like us. Peter turned back to the princess and began to take long strides until he was toe-to-toe with her. Princess, we cannot let you go into these wilds alone. He sighed long, his breath reeking of dirt and dead plants. Through gritted teeth he continued. Please allow us to escort you to safety. The princess fluttered her long eyelashes at him, placed a palm on her chest. Oh my, such kindness. Of course, I would love an escort home. Thank you. Lilac and Red gave a grumbling sigh as they turned and began walking west ahead of the princess and Peter. Little did any of them know, just a few miles ahead, awaited her uncle the king, an army at his back, and weapon at the ready, to kill the princess, should she try and retake the throne. Thank you again for hanging out with me tonight. I hope you enjoyed this. I will be back on Tuesday at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for normal stream. We'll be doing some more Hearthstone, but make sure you give me a subscribe, so that you get notified whenever I go live. I do these healing through writings on occasion, and would love to see you guys back again. Thank you all so much, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright, and for the first time in a long time I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year